news.
Well, speaking of quarterbacks, the one in New York for the Jets, Zach Wilson, didn't play well in his first scrimmage with the Jets. Caused some concern for how he'll perform when the regular season begins, but he's not dwelling on his mistakes. Instead, he is using them as lessons to prepare for when the games actually matter.
Taking care of the ball is 100% a quarterback's job. And one of my goals when I came out here and I got drafted was just like, how can I adapt to this NFL game as quickly as I can? And I can't be afraid to make mistakes, especially in practice. You know, this isn't a game. This is where I'm learning what I can get away with and what I can't. And so, you know, there's times where, you know, maybe in a real game I probably wouldn't throw that, but it's times where I'm like, well, let me try right here and see what I can get away with.
All right. Well, I got a lot of pushback yesterday from the fanboys.
Yeah?
Zach Wilson fanboys. They're at BYU and the Jet fan. We'll see.
They love him?
Well, I said before, he's a little cocky, he's a little small, and his road has been paved with riches, and let's see.
Fan bases are very excited about their quarterbacks right now.
If I criticize an older quarterback, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, that's fine, right? But young quarterbacks who haven't played yet, fans...
Well, I mean, because they're thriving on hope.
Listen, if you go... I'm not going to get to... I'm going to talk about this after Herdline News, but we have a history of what happens with first-round quarterbacks. On average, there's 4. One's a star, 2 are bumpy, one's a bust. They ain't all hitting. So, and I don't think... I'll just tell you right now, I think Trey Lance and Trevor Lawrence... Those two I know are going to succeed.
Well, where you go matters, too. And the New York Jets have a little bit of a better offensive line, but they don't have a ton of solid weapons, and they have a new head coach. It's tough for the New York market to be patient.
First-time play caller, offensive coordinator.
Yeah, so there's a lot of new here with the New York Jets. And look, I guess the concept of trying things out in practice, you remember Tua had a really bad practice where he had like 5 interceptions.
Right,
and Flores was like, I'd rather him be aggressive now.
Yes.
So there is some, mentality to this. They are obviously trying to push him. You would rather have him be aggressive than be timid, I suppose. Right. But, this is all we have to evaluate him on. So we're overanalyzing all of it. Once we start getting into the real games, then we can, start projecting. I think you and I are on the same page about our feelings about how this is going to go for Zach Wilson. But we shall see very soon. So the Saints have a true quarterback competition, Jameis and Taysom. And Sean Payton is hoping the preseason will give him some clarity on who the team starter should be. He said, I'd like to see these guys operate both of them in all 3 of these games, but I haven't sat down as a staff and said this is the date. Hopefully it's something we begin to see a little more clarity on. Both of these guys are working their tail off. They're both well respected by their teammates. They're really, really good leaders, and that's a good thing.
Well, they're two actually opposites. Jameis is your classic throw the ball down the field. Taysom is an athlete, and we don't do. It's not like college where sometimes you get that like you have 2 guys that can play. We just don't do that in the NFL. But to me, I know you can win with both. You can win games with both. The question becomes, which one can defenses marginalize? And I think it's Taysom Hill. You can force Taysom. There's certain things he can't do throwing the ball. And with Jameis, our question's never been size or athleticism or arm. It's just been mistakes.
Yeah.
I think it's easier to ask Jameis to be more efficient than it is to ask Taysom to be a brilliant thrower. That's the only. And by the way, I think. How San Francisco's got Trey Lance doing some stuff. Even if I started Jameis, Taysom Hill has value.
No, they're still going to use Taysom Hill.
Absolutely.
Similarly to what they did when they had Drew Brees, even though Drew Brees is very different than Jameis, obviously. Right. But again, I don't love quarterback competitions. I understand he's trying to feel it out throughout camp and taking his time or whatever. But I just Jameis Winston has so much more starting experience than Taysom Hill. And I don't know what the delay is. Like, he's been there, so you pretty much know what you have in him. I maybe you're evaluating because he, lost weight this offseason. He had the surgery. He's been in the system for another year, so they're seeing how all this works. But he's favored by minus 250 to be the starter. Taysom plus 162. I would assume that Jameis Winston is going to end up being the starter.
And credit to both, because they're both grinders. Like, they like each other. It's respectful. But Jameis is also, I always thought he was a little lumpy as an athlete. I think he's gotten in really good shape.
Well, I think he's also been humbled a little bit. I mean, he's on a new team, and he had to learn a new system, and he was the guy, and then now he has to prove himself. So when you're in the situation like that, you do have to put in the extra work, treat your body a little differently, and pay attention to what you were doing wrong at your first stop. Those odds are given to us by Fox Bets. So Damian Lillard has been at the center of trade rumors all offseason.
Oh, wait. What's this? Oh, cryptic? I saw cryptic.
It's cryptic. It is cryptic. He's maintained his commitment to the Blazers. He has also said he wants the team to be a championship contender.
Yes.
And he has posted a cryptic Instagram post.
Okay, let me see it.
He posted an image that said, "Sometimes you just have to play the role of a fool to fool the fool who thinks they are fooling you," with the caption, "Chess, not checkers." And there's a little jester guy in the corner.
Sometimes you have to play the role of a fool. So he's playing the role of a fool
to fool the fool who thinks he's fooling you.
So what he's saying is,
you gotta play dumb to convince the dumb person that you're dumb, but you're really not. So you're smarter than the dumb person, and you're actually really manipulating them.
Is he talking about Neil O'Shea, the GM? Is he talking about the owner?
I don't know what's going on here. I also think it's funny that, now any NBA player who is involved in any kind of, possible movement, if they maybe it's just on his heart to post this quote because it's, something that's going on in his personal life or something, and now we're, applying it to this possible trade scenario. It's if you're an NBA player, you can't post anything that.
You and I had a dinner the other night with a young broadcaster, and I said, once you get into this world of opinion, you're in the headline business.
Right.
Brent Musburger once told me that. You will now live in a world of headlines. Think of your show as a sports section, and you just stay on page one. You talk LeBron 4 times. You don't go to, guys that nobody cares about. And so I always look, to me, I want to talk Dame, but I can't talk him as much in Portland. Except for Portland fans. Take them out of it. Isn't everybody rooting for him to land with a Luka or an Embiid? Isn't that better for 90% of sports fans? It's nothing against Portland. It's just we've seen it. When LeBron left for Miami, I'd seen LeBron carry a crappy team. Right. I wanted to see him with great players. It was nothing anti-Cleveland. In fact, when he went back to Cleveland, I was like, this is awesome because they had Kyrie and they got Kevin Love. But in the end now, I'm just ready to see Dame play with another A-plus guy. I just want to see that.
I think that, the landscape has changed, obviously. When LeBron left, it was very dramatic, and he's abandoning his hometown, and he's going to South Beach, and he's squishing the little guy. Now we're a little bit past that, and there's still some resentment there around with fans. Obviously, everyone loved that Giannis did it in Milwaukee, even though Golden State just did the same thing a couple years before, but it's San Francisco, so it's not the same thing. Building through the organization. I think with Dame is such a superstar. He is such a crossover star. He's got music. He's got the shoes. So he is a bona fide star in a market like Portland, where we root for them, but we can all also see there's kind of a ceiling here.
Yes.
And with an all-time great player like Dame, you want to see him in a situation where he has at least the potential to win a championship, so that when he does with someone else, it feels like, okay, that's deserved. He's not a super team guy because of how much he's talked about it, but you need other players around you to win a championship.
Yeah. And I also think you don't want to be Bradley Beal, who I look at now, and this is weird, but I almost think less of him. It's dude, do you want to be a winner? Why are you not leaving? I don't understand.
Loyalty is a little bit overstated in professional sports because it's professional.
Right.
You didn't stay at the same company